We're going to quickly look at the symbology that we can use to help us, to inform us of what's wrong with our network. So the thing we need is the roads layer. Click on Catalog. We need to import this roads here. That was the basis for our analysis. Put that there. And we get our roads layer in, which according to our instructions is what we're going to use to style the junction, so we can analyze them to see what's actually working. This is important because what looks like a correct junction is not always a correct junction. So we go to the table of contents. We need our Yavler roads layer. Sorry, that was the roads layer. We want the Yavler roads layer. That was my mistake. Remove that. We go to Catalog. Eventually, Yavler network, Yavler roads layer comes in there. We can put that in. And then we want to remove this because it's in the way, it's incorrect. We can get rid of that. And then we go to Catalog. And if we update the database here, so we can just do a quick refresh, then we should see our service area comes up there, and then we can delete that. We don't want it, it was incorrect. It's just in the way. And what we have in our network is this Yavler roads. And that's the one we're going to edit. So let's just actually remove that. Yavler roads is there. That looks like that. And we've got these cycle network junctions. Let's remove that. Cycle network edges. Let's remove that for now. Let's just simplify things down to just having our roads, because that's the one we're going to be using, and we need to style it. We need to have it indicate in some way where we have junctions and where we don't. So we go to Symbology, click on Symbology, and then it should open up. And it's just got the one symbol at the moment. We click on there, and we come to a window that looks something like this. We've got these icons up here. If we click on that one, we can add a symbol layer. Click on Add Symbol. We want a marker layer. At the moment it's this disk. If we double click on that disk, we get to this window here. And then if we click on this little icon, we can choose triangle. But now we need to adjust this a little bit. Let's just click on the rotation, and we can change that to 90 degrees of rotation. We go down the list here, angle to the line. Marker placement, we want the placement to be on the vertices. We want it on the extremities. Get rid of that. So now we can see it's just at the ends. If we look at this little illustration down the bottom here, we can see what's happening. If we can mark some of these others, or we'll see that it sort of updates it to show what it will end up looking like. But we just want it on the extremities. Angle to the line, 90 degrees. So these arrows are going to indicate the sort of direction of the line, as it were. And quite large. But that for now is fine. And we'll just click on Apply. And when we click on Apply, we can see that we get our network illustrated so that at each junction, where there's a node, we can see a black triangle. And the black triangle is indicating where it's coming from. So if we look, obviously there are no junctions here. There are no nodes here, missing from both lines. Here we have two nodes, so that would seem to be correct. But when we look at this junction here, there's a node coming in from this road going up here, but there's nothing on this line. Similarly, on this line, we have a node there, we have a node there, but on this line, there's nothing there. So these don't actually meet. This line just passes over that node without there being any junction there. That may be for valid reasons. But we've now used this method of symbology to be able to find out what's going on. If we then go back and open up or turn on the RGB image, we can start looking at these junctions and deciding whether we think they are valid, whether we need to adjust them. And I think when we look at this, there is no good reason why these two lines shouldn't meet up. They just cross there. So we obviously need to edit that. And similarly, well, we could probably actually just cycle onto the road here. We can even see that there are some shortcomings in our map. We would actually really like to have a path going through there and maybe even a cycle path going along there. We could even accept that that's not a valid junction there, but rather going all the way over to there instead and joining up with a line that currently doesn't exist. So these are considerations that we will have to work with. But for now, we've looked at the symbology, how to adjust those symbols, and we'll just quickly go through that again. So if we step backwards, we're in this symbology, the primary symbology. We click on that symbol, and we go to here, and we can add a symbol layer. So we can actually add on more and more stuff. We can adjust if we want the symbology in here. If we click on that, we can adjust the color, the width. We can adjust the appearance of our lines in quite a lot of detail simply by adding more and more layers on into this symbology. But for now, we don't really need to. All we want to do is have these arrows that point out where things work and where they don't work. We can explore this a little bit further, perhaps, if we look at the shape fill symbol. For example, we can actually turn that to no color at all, and then the outline set to 1 point, and then we get these black triangles, and then it might be easier to see which one is which. That's an alternative that you might want to use. I'm not saying you have to, but we have all these alternatives in the symbology. And I think now that we've looked at this symbology and drilling down through these panes, this is going to be similar in a lot of tools in ArcGIS, that you really have to hunt around and drill down for the things you're interested in to find them, to find those settings, especially when it comes to things like layouts. They're all in there. So exploring, finding out where these things are. It's not always entirely obvious. You have this symbol here, and there's a little arrow there, and well, what can I do with that? That's fine. But actually clicking on it and changing this makes all the difference. So I think I will return that back to being a filled black, or at least some color there. Click on apply, and I'm done there. So now we can go back to editing the data. But we'll stop that film there, that symbology film, as it is there.